Om Namo Shri Shri Nimishananda Namaha. Sarve Jana Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Today let us discuss on how all of us create our own destiny for ourselves. Destiny is the vital factor in which we are all being controlled with. We cannot escape destiny, and this destiny from which we cannot escape is created by we ourselves. Our own lives are formed because of this destiny. We have created a destiny in such a manner that parents are chosen for us. Our own children are chosen for us. Our own walks of life are chosen for us by this destiny. Our own activities are chosen by this destiny. Our own spouses are chosen by this destiny. Our own wealth, name, fame, everything is chosen by this destiny. Even our own internal fears, even our own internal apprehensions, even our own internal positive qualities, even our own internal negative qualities are all chosen by this destiny. And the best part of this is we create our own destiny. What is the root cause of this destiny? What is the root cause by us when we create this destiny? What is the quality in us which brings forth this destiny? The foremost thing is, number one, desires. Desires make our destiny. And number two is the actions we perform. Both the physical actions and the mental actions we perform create this destiny. That is what the scriptures say. That is what the most great enlightened beings have said. And this is what men of wisdom have ascertained by practicing it in their lives. And they have also said, if we can correct ourselves, if we can just change certain aspects in our life through our mind, intellect and actions, we definitely can totally change the destiny in which and by what we are heading towards. So let us discuss a few salient points on how we have created this destiny and how we can overcome this destiny. So today, the first and the foremost thing is desires. Without desires, we feel life has got no charm. We feel without desires, life doesn't hold any interest for us. We feel without desires, there is no propelling factor from within us. And we also feel without desires, there is no charm in life. But we have to understand one thing. Yes, to desire is all right. But do we have an excess, obsessive or an obsessive feeling towards this desire? Are we really having a desire towards desire itself? Is that the very fact that desire is really as a desire within us, or is this desire changed itself into another quality called as greed? When we think, contemplate and ponder over this, we find, yes, our desires, most of them in fact, has converted itself into a kind of a greed. There is an excessive, obsessive desire which has converted itself into greed. Absolutely, we are not satisfied by having one desire or by the fulfillment of just one desire. We feel desires is a kind of a quality we should be having always, and each and every time it should be fulfilled. That is the kind of a quality we have called as desire. Desire has been eradicated from within us, and an excessive desire called as greed is established within us. So today the greed factor has been the vital key by locking up that kind of a peace, happiness and tranquility within us. And the more you lock away your own inner happiness, your own inner peace, believe me, you are in total control. Or let me put it this way, destiny is in total control of your life. Because destiny is the sum total of all your desires, and it will create situations so that every moment your desires are being fulfilled by hook or by crook. So what you desire is what you should be thinking of. Before you start the process of a desire, you should understand, today it is my life, it is this destiny of mine which has put me in such a situation. Most of us have felt sometimes we are in good situations, sometimes we are in bad situations, sometimes we find a catastrophic situation attacking us and we feel, yes, I cannot avoid this catastrophic situation. Most of the time we feel a good situation coming our way, but still we have our own doubts whether this situation will materialize. So this kind of a feeling is always there in our lives every day. There is nothing fixed to our lives. Things keep changing each and every moment. And what is the root cause of it? Destiny is in control of each and every situation. Even though, for example, we are driving a car, the car is within our control. Still, if someone else comes and smashes against us, we find, look, this gentleman has come and smashed against us. We are driving okay, but how come this gentleman has come and smashed against us? That is destiny. An excessive desire to drive fast, to drive negligently, to drive rashly at some point of time in our lives will create a situation where others will do the same and come and dash or come and hit against us. Believe me, for your own thought, for your own action, there will always be an equal and opposite reaction. It may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, it may not be the day after tomorrow, but it can really happen one day. That is why we say desire on one side and actions without a kind of a knowledge will definitely see to it that destiny comes in between. That is why we say empower yourself with that kind of a knowledge from within. Empower yourself with that kind of an awareness from inside, and empower yourself with that kind of a consciousness of that power of the soul within you. Because the moment you empower, the moment you enrich yourself with the soul qualities, then believe me, you are already rechanging your fate and destiny, because only the power of the soul can change this kind of a life ahead for all of you. So we should understand that excessively desiring something will see to it that each and every desire is fulfilled by hook or by crook. So how do we know what to desire? How do we know what to possess? How do we know the difference between possessiveness and obsessiveness? How do we know the difference between desire and greed? This is where when you start inquiring about what is the kind of life you want to have, then you will be able to clearly differentiate. Once when you understand your true feelings arising out of your heart, you will be very clearly able to differentiate what is that kind of a possessive quality you have, what is the kind of greed you have, what is the kind of desires you have, and what is it that is really taking you out from that path of peace, happiness and tranquility. So that is why it is said, God has said to us very clearly, our scriptures have said, our own code of principles set by God Himself, they have clearly extolled that whatever you desire, God will fulfill. Whatever you wish will come true one day. But before you wish and before you desire, think 100 times, is this desire really necessary, or is this wish really necessary? So today, without a sense of knowledge, we are going desiring n number of things at n number of situations by n number of people. So we are going haywire. Our mind and intellect is being pulled in all different directions. Each factor, each situation, each kind of power we have from the materialistic world will propel us towards one more desire, will propel us towards one more greed, and will propel us towards a new kind of possessiveness, a new kind of obsessiveness, in fact, which we should be avoiding for the rest of our lives. So we should understand that destiny is something which cannot be changed unless and until we stop desiring in the most cruel or in the most lack of purpose manner. So when you desire, you should think 100 times what you desire. So be careful what you desire and think 100 times before when you really feel, yes, this is the thing I want in my life. Because desire propels you towards an action, and an action will have a kind of a reaction. And as you know, for each and every reaction there is going to be a fruit in your life, and this fruit is what is called as the karmic fruit, and this karmic fruit is what that shapes your destiny. So karma is a very important vital factor in our day-to-day lives, and it is this bag of karmas which we have accumulated from many lifetimes from the past. These karmas create us phobias on another side also. On one side it propels you towards a desire, and on another side it propels you towards a new kind of phobia, a new kind of fear, and a new kind and a feeling of insecurity. Because remember, a phobia means fear instilled in you. And when fear and phobia attack together, it gives you a sense of insecurity. And insecurity leads to what I call as depression. And depression and insecurity leads to a lot of indecisiveness in life. That is why the men of wisdom, the ancient sages, have very clearly said that stick to the path of the soul. Understand the feeling of your spiritual heart. Understand the true feelings of another human being. Understand what the great divine beings have said. Understand and follow the path of the men of wisdom. Tread their path so that you are able to have a total control of your desires, and you're able to understand and correlate that each and every action of yours will definitely bear a reaction. So keeping this in mind, they very clearly said, follow the traditional paths of culture. Follow all the kinds of righteousness, and your conduct should not be good. Your conduct should be much more than good, and your conduct should be just noble at all points of time, because nobility is a very crucial point in our life where it totally changes our fate and destiny. We have understood from the lives of many great people, we have understood by reading the autobiographies of many great souls and how they were able to change our fate and destiny, and how they were able to completely reorient themselves with a new kind of life, with a kind of a divine life, with that kind of a divinity imbibed in them. And fate and destiny never ever cut across their paths. So today the future looks bleak to us. The future poses a lot of insecurity for us. The future poses a lot of troubles, trifles and sorrows for us. And the future absolutely does not look the way it should be looking for all of us. Why? And what is the reason for all this? The reason is because our life is being propelled by our thoughts, and these thoughts take the shape of an action, and these actions give us a reaction, and it is propelling more and more towards a karmic fate and a karmic destiny for us. So before you desire, think 100 times, and before you put that desire into an active mode or into an action, think 1,000 times whether is this necessary? Can I not postpone this decision or this desire for a day more? Can I not postpone this action which is going to propel me towards the fruition of my desire by one day more? Then when you get into a tendency of trying to postpone the fruition of your desire by a day and by some days, believe me, after a few days you will feel it was a good decision you took, because that desire would have now become something like an unwanted thing. Many a times there is a lot of impulses that come out of us. Most of the times we go shopping, we buy things out of impulse. We are truly impulsive most of the time, and the moment the fruition of that desire gets into or comes into our house, or when we bring it, when we buy it and when we bring it back into our house, we feel that it is not giving us that kind of interest anymore, and we feel it was a sheer waste after a few days. So these kinds of happenings, these kind of fulfillment of desires have fructified in our lives. We have taken such desires, we have taken such actions in our lives, and we have repented for the rest of our lives. So we should understand that most of our desires comes out of impulsiveness, and most of our desires are nothing but the past karma trying to catch up with us. Remember, the karma does catch up with us. It will always overtake us and put a stop to our lives most of the time. That is why desire is the root cause of all our misery, and our misery happens to be our fate and destiny. So remember, my friends, before you desire, think 100 times. And before you want to possess something, think 1,000 times. And check always, is your desire a desire, or has it become a greed? And has this greed come because out of competing yourself mentally with the others who have been successful in their lives, again because of their own good karmas, or whether the desires have turned into a sort of possessiveness or obsessiveness in your life. So when you start this kind of a discriminatory process in your life, believe me, you have already started cutting off the unwanted desires in your life. You have started delinking all that greed which was not necessary in your life, and you have started delinking your own beautiful spirit from being obsessed with all kinds of negative thinking and negative qualities in your life. So always, always have this when you start inquiring into your soul, when you start the inquiry of yourself, when you start understanding the true nature of your spiritual heart, when you start understanding that life is not as what you see it, but life is what as you feel it. So when you start understanding this, you will understand that all the external negative qualities are the most unwanted in your life, and you will start remaining fixed in your heart. The moment you start getting fixed in yourself, called as the spiritual heart, that same moment you have started delinking and cutting off from your own fate and destiny, because we have as human beings the power to change our fate and destiny by establishing ourselves in the heart. The moment we start the discrimination process, the moment we start having that kind of a dispassion towards negative things in life, believe me, our fate and destiny can be changed. Even the great men of wisdom, the great enlightened beings, the great sages and seers have even controlled the very time of their death. They have willed themselves to death, and if they were supposed to die at a very premature age, they have controlled that also. So even the scriptures, even these men of wisdom have proved that even the final destination to which we all are heading towards, called as death, can be changed by our own hands. And that can only be changed if we all establish ourselves within our own spiritual heart, called as the self or the soul or the Atman. So instead of heading towards a fatalistic destiny, instead of heading towards a fatalistic fate, let us head towards a hopeful fate and a hopeful destiny, because where love is, where the true feeling is, and where there are absolutely no unwanted desires in life, that is where God is, and that is where God's power resides, and that is where God exists. And this is the place called as the heart, where God exists. And this is the place where we should be more concerned about. This is the place where we should be more worried about, rather than being worried about what, who and why everybody is possessing something or the other. Instead of comparing ourselves with the rest of the world, with the society, with the city in which we live, let us understand that here is a beautiful divine society, and this is the blessed place, this is the best place to reside in and to abide within our own self. So, keeping this in mind, let us change our fate and destiny. Let us all turn within us and look within us. Let us all bring out our true potentialities, our own true qualities, and let us bring out the true feelings of the heart, rather than becoming hard and rather than showing a kind of disapathy, showing a kind of no interest and lack of concern with the society outside. So keeping this in mind, let us all take a resolve today and change ourselves by saying, let my desires be controlled and let my ambitions and aims be directed more towards the self rather than outside. Let God's grace be established, and let me change my own fate and destiny with this kind of a grace. So think like this, and this awareness leads to a total state of joy, peace and serenity within all of you. May the Divine Mother hold your hand and take you away, wean you away from the fatalistic destiny, and establish towards a more hopeful fate and destiny for the rest of your lives.
For more satsangs from Shri Shri Nimishananda Guruji, subscribe to this channel. Click the bell button below to get notifications. Like and share the video and spread the divine message.